a lesbian and a loudmouth Jew. With a gasket always ready to blow, you're listening to Judy's show. Who? Judy show. Wait a minute, who are you talking about? Oh, she's an asshole. What is wrong with you? Oh, you suck. So long. Fuck off. Hey everyone, welcome to It's Judy Show with Judy Gold. I'm your host, Judy Gold, and I am, if you don't recognize the background, I'm at my friend's Kate and Ainsley's house because we're renovating. We're renovating our place. We don't have it, and we're here for Women's Week. We're here in Provincetown for Women's Week, and we don't have a fucking place to stay. And thank God we have good friends like Kate and Ainsley. You can guess the Jew in that one, and it's not Kate. Anyway, so welcome to the show. We're having a rant this week, but let me tell you about my gigs right before I start fucking screaming into the microphone. This coming Thursday, I am flying to Israel, to do shows for the Kobe Mandel Foundation, and it is to raise money for a camp called the Kobe Mandel Foundation Camp. I don't know what that. I think that it's the Kobe Mandel Foundation. Anyway, you can look it up, and they have a camp for kids with PTSD, and they're overloaded with kids for obvious reasons. People losing, or just being victims of terror, or losing parents, siblings, grandparents, whatever, friends, cousins. It's a great, great camp, and it's a great organization. So I'm excited to go. I have a show on the 20th in Jerusalem, on the 21st in Herzliya, and then on the 22nd in Tel Aviv, and then I come home on the 23rd, which is Wednesday. And then I will be in New York on the 29th for the Israel Cancer Research Fund. And I, Judith Hannah Gold, am going to Chicago for the Big Gay Cabaret. That is November 8, 9, and 10. The Big Gay Cabaret. So if you're in Chicago, you need to come see me at the Big Gay Cabaret. Yeah, so that's that. And I have other stuff coming up. Oh, yes, I'm in Aventura, Florida on November 22. Oh, no, is that October? No, it's November 22. And November 23, I am at the Black Box, Boca Black Box in Boca Raton, Florida. So there you go. Those are my gigs. And I'm very excited because Ben starts, his season starts at Binghamton. We have this neighbor who is lovely, Cindy Gosson, and they live down the hall. And I think she went to Binghamton, and she was she is Jamaican, or her mother, and she had a bit of an accent, and she would call it Binghamton. So now we just call it Binghamton. And she's lovely. Anyway, hi, Cindy. Anyway, I've said anyway about 100 times, so I'm not at all mad at myself. And if you're in Provincetown, I'm doing Women's Week. I'm here for Women's Week until Wednesday night. So I have shows tonight and tomorrow. But I took little notes here because there were things I wanted to talk about. First of all, I am so upset. I'm not that upset, but I'm pretty, there were two things that really fucking pissed me off. There was an op-ed in the New York Times. I could barely get through it. I don't even think I finished it because I was, it was just fucking making me crazy. It was this Harvard law professor who was talking about Jack Smith and saying that Jack Smith was wrong. I'm going to look it up. I want you to know the guy's name, but that Jack Smith essentially was wrong for disclosing all this stuff about January 6th, right? It's 5 days ago. It is a guest essay by Jack Goldsmith. Okay? Oh, that's interesting that his name is Jack Goldsmith and he's talking about Jack Smith. Maybe he's pissed off because his name isn't Jack Smith and it's Jack Goldsmith, which is not as good a name, I guess. All right, whatever. So he's writing, the filing is in clear tension with the Justice Department's 60-day rule, which is the Department Inspector General described as a longstanding department practice of delaying overt investigative steps or disclosures that could impact an election within 60 days of it. However, the rule is unwritten, and the Inspector General made clear has an uncertain scope. Okay, so he goes on and on about the, and I got to that line and I was like, are you fucking, like, when really smart people, really educated people write shit and they are so unaware. I mean, he's so one-sided. First of all, are you fucking kidding me? James Comey came out with that Hillary shit. You think that didn't affect the fucking election? Okay, this unwritten rule. And you're talking about norms, all these norms, and you're saying that norms should be applied to Trump when he hasn't followed one fucking norm. He's not even norm. He's mentally ill. Not that you're not supposed to not say normal. I know, blah, blah, blah. But, it just really pissed me off. Is it a norm not to have a vacant Supreme Court seat for a year because you're a fucking asshole and spiteful and won't even interview a Supreme Court justice for a fucking year because you're a fucking jealous, want to control the world piece of shit? Okay. The world, the country. Okay. Norms. How about peaceful transfer of power? Norm. How about you disclosing who visits the White House? Norm. How about disclosing your medical records? Norm. How about disclosing your tax returns? Norm. Like, shut up. It's just ridiculous. It just fucking pisses me off. Okay. So that op-ed, when you're reading something and your blood pressure starts increasing and I was like, I can't. And then I write op-ed replies in my head. And then I have ADD, so I get in my head. I'm like, I'm gonna write this, and I'm gonna write that, and I'm gonna find him on Instagram. I'm gonna write what an asshole he is, and then I just end up, losing focus and going to do something else. So that's my life. Oh, listen to this. But in the critical historical test of the first prosecution of a former president and a political opponent, Mr. Biden, Ms. Harris, and Mr. Smith have failed. Fuck you, Jack Goldsmith, law professor at Harvard. Fuck you, Jack. Okay, here's what I wanted to tell you. I'm trying to be open, but Ta-Nehisi Coates made me want to fucking punch the window out in my car. Okay? So I don't know if you know the story. I'm sure you do. So he was on Good Morning America for his new book. What is the name of his new book? I think it's I Hate Jews. Let me look it up. Jews suck. And I was a fan. His new book is called Jews Suck. I don't even know what the name of his new book is because every review doesn't even mention the name of the book, which I guess is smart if you're writing a review and you don't want people to read the book. And he does definitely, his writings really spark conversation. It's called The Message, okay? And it's 3 essays, and the longest one is about his 10-day trip to Israel and the West Bank last year. His 10-day trip to Israel and the West Bank. And let me repeat, his 10-day trip. He was there for 10 days, okay? And and he wrote an essay on his 10-day visit and what he saw. And I don't know if you think this. It's a complicated issue. The history of the region, and he went for 10 days and then wrote an essay, and it's in a book, and it is so ridiculous. Beyond, 10 days. He writes, I don't think I ever in my life felt the glare of racism burn stranger and more intense than in Israel. Okay, I'm not a person of color. I'm a Jew. So I have been in Israel and I have seen racism. I'm telling you right now, I have seen racism there against people of color, not of Israeli color, but African Americans. So is it worse than anywhere else in the world? No. I had a friend, I was with friends and they experienced it at a hotel. Okay. And what the fuck? Okay. He writes about his experience. He went on Tony on Good Morning America. I'm trying to be really not an asshole. I know. Isn't that crazy? He went on Good Morning America, Tony Dokapol, who, first of all, let's just talk about Tony on Good Morning America. So handsome, so smart, married to Katie Tur. Oh, Tony's Jewish, by the way. He converted. He's just, that couple, I love that couple. I think they're great. And Tony asked him really great journalistic questions about when he read this. It could have been, I'm paraphrasing, in the backpack. This essay could have been in the backpack of what was the word he used that I had in my head, and then it just escaped because I'm old. An extremist. And, he got so defensive, and, he's so confident in his response as the victim, Vicky Victim from Vicksville, that it's not nuanced. I didn't read, full disclosure, I didn't read the essay, but I have watched him take any sort of criticism and be shocked. And, at one point he was like, he intimated that he would fight for Hamas. This is cray-cray, okay? Van Jones did a post about the Black Jewish Alliance and how it's, how the Russians and the extremists win when the blacks and the Jews don't get along, right? They don't, they love that. They love that. They love, having us not get along. When we have been together, we began the NAACP together. We have done so much together to fight discrimination, segregation, racism, and anti-Semitism. And yet they're winning with this sort of, our alliance together by trying to separate us. And it's not good. It's like they keep winning. Do you understand that we need to support each other and we need to have an alliance? And it's just fucking fucked up. The shit that's going on that people just ignore. I can't fucking take it. In interviews, Coates has questioned the justification for Israel's establishment in the wake of the Holocaust. Does industrialized genocide entitle one to a state? No. Israeli Jews take the wrong lesson from their own history of persecution. Who the fuck are you to tell us what lesson we're supposed to fucking take? What are you, in your 50s? What do you know about the Jewish experience? Yes, you've had your own experience, but shut the fuck up. He calls a frightful scenario the emaciated enslaves. Oh, I'm sorry, the emaciated. Oh my God. Am I hungry or am I hungry? The emancipated enslaves, the oppressed colonizes, the vanquished ethically cleanses, and people survive a genocide only to perpetrate another. It's not a genocide. It's not a genocide. Look up fucking genocide. You're a goddamn writer. Like, don't you know what the word genocide means? Ugh. Just shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. You know about other things. You're very eloquent when you speak, but you don't know about this. So shut the fuck up and stop acting like, your 10-day trip to the West Bank and Israel makes you a fucking expert. Because let me tell you something. I've been there 3 times, and this will be my 4th time. I don't know. I'm not an expert. Fuck. Anyway, so that really pissed me off. And that was another thing that got my fucking blood pressure up. And then I'm sitting there and I get a thing on my phone and it's, the New York Times alert. And it literally says that after 22 years of investigations, 22 years of investigations, they claim that Christopher Columbus, Chrissy Columbus, is a Sephardic Jew. What is the last thing we need? What is the last thing the Jews need right now? Is for Christopher Columbus to be a Jew. Mr. Colonizer to be a Jew. Okay, we don't need that. So in the voice of my mother, oh my God, this is the last thing we need. What the hell? This is, oh my God. Who the hell investigated this shit? Okay, I'm just saying, not good. Christopher Columbus was a Jew. And so, that'll be the table talk at Thanksgiving. Yeah, not happy about it. Not happy about. There's certain people. Yes, the Jews have done amazing things, and done a lot to help the world at large. But seriously, Christopher Columbus, and his name's Christopher, as my friend Kate said. Christopher. It's a Jew. It's not a Jew name. But they probably didn't know they were Jews. Okay, then I wanted to say our Yom Kippur services were so beautiful, but, this is going to be a big Jew discussion, but our rabbi was very emotional throughout. And, the prayers are very melodic, and they definitely, they're very, I don't know, they emotional. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for, emotional. Also, you read these prayers and they had a book of poems, of poetry, and they would read a poem and, they really do it up. So you're not sitting there wanting to kill yourself. And she kept getting really emotional and crying. And it was just, I was feeling it too, but it's like, you just can't not think of the hostages and the 1,200. And then, of course, in our synagogue, they also added, all the other people in Gaza and Lebanon that, are innocent people. And I just wanted to focus, I don't know. It was a different experience because we feel not insecure. You sit in synagogue and you're like, someone could be in here and just kill us. But they closed the street down. There was so much security because, who the fuck knows? It's just like, it's not safe. So, and it's upsetting. It's like, leave us the fuck alone. I'm just so sick of it. Israel's not perfect, but they have a right to exist. And I've said this before, if this October 7th had occurred in the United States, there would be nothing left of Gaza. Zero. Done. And these protesters, when I think of, what Assad did, how many Syrians Assad killed, what's going on in Sudan right now, and nothing. They don't fucking care. It's like, and you're an expert. You're an expert. And these people, you interview them and you ask them questions. They're like, no, it's colonialism and the Jews and they're oppressing the people. Have you ever been there? No, but shut the fuck up. So then I asked my friend Ainsley, who I'm staying with, what her experience was with her rabbi or the services she went to. And she said that her rabbi was angry, was just full of rage and anger. And I get that. I could have gone to like one sad service, emotional, and then to the angry service, and then maybe ended at the hope service. We definitely had hope at the end. But, it's hard to be hopeful when the rabbi's crying, But it's a really fucking weird time. And, the New York Times just did an article about how hard it is for Palestinians to enter into Israel and how easy it is for Israelis to enter. There's a different way that they enter Israel. And I'm sitting here reading this and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to sit in traffic. I'd like to go the easy way to Israel. But if you weren't constantly bringing terrorists over, Israel allows you in to work, and all those people, who came, there were people who came in and had jobs in Israel and then fucking blew up the kibbutzim. They blew them up. They raped and murdered and pillaged and beheaded and burned and slaughtered. And so you're upset there's a fucking like extra checkpoint and it's not beautiful. I'm so sorry that we don't, you can't trust anyone. How would you trust people? When there was a guy who worked at a kibbutz and called them his family, and he showed that he helped them. He helped them destroy this kibbutz. Stop fucking. Oh, how dare they do that? What do they do here? He's Mr. fucking orange piece of shit is like migrants and migrants and migrants. And and look what they're doing to the Haitians. It's in Ohio. Like, shut up. Okay. So that was another little mini tantrum. I want to end on something positive. I don't know what's going on with me, but I want to tell you the story that happened in Montreal. So I'm in Montreal and I'm shooting this short film, Jew film. And I'm leaving. I shot a scene in the morning, and then I went and picked up my luggage at my friend Paige's. Thank you, Paige. Paige, let me stay at her beautiful home there. And I had time to get something to eat. So I went to the end of the block and I went to this place. And I looked it up. I looked up, good places in the area. And I went in this little place and delicious food. It's called, Julien's. Okay. So I go into Julien's in Montreal. And I have my luggage, and then I go up. It's one of these, you go to the counter and order, and then they bring it to your table. So I went up to the counter, and the food, it has like 5 stars because the food is fucking amazing. And the guy behind the counter, I'm wearing my my dog tag for the hostages. And I order, and I'm asking him what I should get. And then he's like, I like your necklace. And I said, oh, thanks. I'm going there in a few weeks, in a month. And he's like, oh, my mother lives there. And you get this look like, oh, it's bad. It's bad. You just like, oh, God, you're feeling the same. You could just tell when people are feeling the same thing you're feeling. So I got my food. And he was sitting at this long table because he owns the place, and he was on his computer. And I said, can I sit with you? And he's like, of course. Anyway, we started talking and talking and talking, and we realized we were very similar. And he told me he was gay, and we started talking about Queers for Palestine and how fucking infuriating they are. And I said, I'm gay too. I love that. I didn't know he was gay, and I usually can tell. And so we sat there and we talked, and he talked about his mother, and he talked about, how much his mother, loves Israel, hates Netanyahu. I'm going to do a couple of these. Loves Israel, hates Netanyahu, and is so upset about what's going on. And then we talked about where we would go if he couldn't live in Montreal anymore, and I couldn't live in New York anymore. And it was one of these, I didn't know where I was going to go eat. And I walk in this place and I meet this man, and we bonded over this delicious meal. Julian's in Montreal. Go there. Support this. They're amazing. And we just had the most incredible, validating conversation where you're like, yeah, I know, and blank. And then I get it. And, from two Jews of two different generations, one a gay man, one a lesbian, but so proud of being Jewish. And, we talked about survival, and we talked about pride, and it was like, you think, oh my God, is there a God that made this happen? Oh shit, I almost dropped it. Well, and did God make me almost drop my notebook? That's a question. And so I got up after this fucking delicious food. Did I mention how delicious it is? It was. And we hugged. We Instagram messaged, and I wish I could find that Instagram message so I can read it to you. But it left me so full and happy. And I got on the plane and I went home, and I can't wait to go back to Montreal and to go to Julian's and see this man. It was really one of those incredible experiences where you just meet someone out of nowhere. You don't expect anything, and boom. So when I figure out what his name is, because I have to look it up, and I don't want to look it up anymore because I'm done, I will let you know. It was just fantastic. It was just a fantastic, wonderful experience. So I wanted to end on that, something positive, because I am a fucking raging lunatic. I am so fucking tired. I was in Grand Junction, Colorado for 2 days. We were calling it Petticoat Junction. I worked at Colorado Mesa University. It was a lovely time. I did a panel on free speech with Fern Perlstein for her movie and Bob Edwards for his book. And then I did a show in this beautiful theater. But I was so fucking tired because it's so hard to get to. And I'm just sick of living out of a suitcase. But I'm done here in P-Town. I go to Israel. And then I'm home for a while. No, I'm not. I have to go to Chicago. But whatever. It's a small trip. But yeah, so that's it for me. I wish everyone, it's Sukkot this week. So it goes Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and then Sukkot, and it's a long one. A lot of holidays right now, which is why I said Joseph Lieberman could never be president of the United States, because it would just be, you call the office. Hi, Mr. Lieberman is here Monday through Thursday, 9:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., Fridays from sunrise to sunset. We will be closed September 12th through the 16th for Rosh Hashanah. We'll be closed from the 28th to the 29th for Yom Kippur. We'll be closed October 7 to, I'm making up these days, for Sukkot. And that's it. Shalom. I mean, I used to do a joke about this, and it's ridiculous. We have so many fucking holidays. So, a lot of B&H Photo was closed for almost 2 weeks. So anyway, Good holiday, good Yontif to the Jews. Please vote. Register to vote. Vote, vote, vote. I'm worried about the election. Please vote. Vote, vote, vote. Vote. Okay? Everyone's worried. I don't believe the polls, and I'm sick of everyone acting like they know. Fuckface has not gotten any new fans. So that's all I have to say. Are we that racist and misogynistic in this country? Yes, we are. So please vote. And I'm going to be hopeful. So I'm ending on hope. So thank you so much for listening. This podcast is produced by Laura Vogel, edited by Colin Schmaling, and marketed by Haley Dircher. And the theme song, the lovely theme song by my friend Lauren Gold, who is a fucking genius. He's on tour with Chicago and Earth, Wind & Fire, and he's fucking amazing. And you're amazing. So thank you so much for listening. Happy holidays, and, be well, and vote, and read and learn. And as we always say, so long.